Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to today's video. This is a video that is really highly requested, and I thought, since as today is the day that Ash is actually coming home, he's on his flight home as we speak, I'm going to go and pick him up from the airport tonight. By the time you actually see this, he will have been home for a couple of days, but I thought I would do a video all about my top tips for surviving solo parenting, and that isn't the same as being a single parent. That's not the same thing at all. This is because my partner's in the military, but it could be in so many different scenarios. So for example, if your husband works like a 9-to-5 job, but they work away and they are away for prolonged periods of time, or they're away from before little one gets up in the morning and then they're home after they go to bed, it's the same sort of thing. I mean, there are lots of different versions and scenarios where this would apply. But in my case, my partner's been away for the past 4.5 months, and that's a really long time to be on your own with a little one. My little boy is 15 months old. The last time my partner was here, he was 11 months old, so he's been away for that period of time. He's also been away previously when he was a lot younger, so I've done this on and off for a little while. I definitely don't think I've succeeded every single day, but I have learnt some tips along the way that I really hope will help anyone that's going through something similar. Like I said, even if your partner just works full time and you're with little one in the day on your own all the time, that in itself is a solo, in the day you are solo parenting. So, you know, this is kind of a video for anyone really, any mum or parent that does solo parenting in whichever way that could manifest itself. So I'm just gonna jump in and talk about my top tips that I have learned in my own experience, and I would also love to hear some of your tips on how to survive solo parenting. My first tip is to plan ahead. And I know this is a cliche, but genuinely, planning ahead makes the day go so much smoother, and that could be anything. So that could be meal prepping, and that is probably the biggest one for me because I struggle a lot during meal times because I have to cook it and make it and think about what I'm making and then actually serve it and eat it and give it to little one and then clear up, all while you've got, for me, a toddler who needs entertaining and some sort of stimulation, and I just struggle with that whole concept. So what I like to do, and when I do it I notice a huge difference, is meal prep, whether that's making up little meals for baby or batch cooking your own food and making a version of that for little one. I just find it is so much easier when it comes to meal times. So meal prepping definitely for me, or even meal planning, so you know what you're having each day. Any little preparation you can do like that is massively helpful. Other things you can do to plan ahead are packing bags for nursery or childcare, or even your own bag the night before, sorting out outfits the night before, making sure you've got nappies, wipes the night before, having it all ready, and then you can just chill out and know that everything is ready for the next day. And let me tell you, when it comes to nursery runs, or even if that's going to school, or if you're going out for the day with little one, if your bag is packed, or if their bag is packed, you will have so much less stress in the morning, and I promise you it's going to make your life a lot easier. Another thing I like to do to plan ahead is to do the online shopping. So do shopping online, do the weekly shop online. I do Tesco normally because it's the closest one. I do a click and collect, I pull up, chuck everything in the boot, and then I go. I don't have to go around Tesco for a big shop on a weekend when it's really, really busy with George in the trolley, between nap times and stuff. It takes a long time to do that shop, but with a toddler, it takes so much longer, and it's just really, really difficult to get in and out, and you've got to park and you've got to go get the trolley and you've got to put the coin in the trolley, but you can't leave them in the car, you've got to take them with you, and it's just a lot of unnecessary stress for me. So I like to do a click and collect, but you can also do delivery or something like that. It's a lot easier when there's only one of you to do an online shop for sure. And the other thing I do is I tend to wash in the evenings. So I tend to either have a shower or a bath of an evening after George has gone to sleep, or sometimes I jump in the bath with him, and it just saves that time in the morning. If you don't have time to, if you don't want to be getting up half an hour earlier, before they get up, sometimes you can't even tell when they're gonna get up, can you? So I try and either get up earlier in the morning, get up 30 minutes before George, which sometimes I just cannot be bothered to do because I'm so exhausted, or I have a shower or a bath in the evening, and then I don't have to do it in the morning, which saves so much time. And when you're on your own, it just every second counts. So they're my tips for like getting prepared the night before. For me, it's like the biggest tip, the most practical tip ever. Solo parenting tip number 2 is to do things as you go. So by this I mean basically I wash up after every meal, or like at least rinse the plates or stuff after every meal, so that things don't get like crusted on and I don't have to like sit there scrubbing and with a whole pile of washing. I sort of just do it as I go. I tidy up, like, you know, between nap times and stuff, I tidy up as we go. If I spill something, or if George spills something, I'll clean it straight there and then, because if I leave it again, it just adds to this like mountain of pressure you've already got. At the end of the day, once little one is in bed, after bedtime, bath time, everything, to then come downstairs to like a monstrosity of a kitchen, which, trust me, I've been there, is soul destroying. And it's either 2 options at that point, when you've got like downstairs it's a complete mess, like the living room's a mess and the kitchen's a mess. The 2 options are you tackle that and probably like really burn yourself out because you've done a whole day of parenting or a whole day of whatever you've been doing on your own, and then you've got all of that chaos to sort of clear up. Or you don't do it, you leave it, you think, oh, I'm gonna cut myself some slack and I'm not going to do all of the washing up today, or I'm not gonna, like, you know, I'm not gonna do something, and then the next day you come downstairs to a filthy kitchen or something and it's soul destroying the following day. So there's definitely a balance. The days that I feel like I'm doing everything to the best of my ability is definitely the days where I am doing things as I go, as much as possible, because you'll see a later point of mine is don't burn yourself out, but we'll get to that. Solo parenting tip number 3 is to stick to a routine-ish. So I don't mean like an hourly by hourly routine, I just mean stick to things that you know your little one is comfortable with and things that work for you as well. So for example, bedtime, snack times, dinner time, bath time, all of those things are always at the same time in our house, and I know that that is helpful for George to know when things are coming, and it's also helpful for me because I feel like I'm in somewhat control of a chaotic situations at times, and I feel like I can control the situation a lot better when I know like when things are happening each day. And also this goes for when George is at nursery, for example. I have my own little routine in my head, so I'll get up, I'll have my coffee, I'll get George up, I take him to nursery, I then have like 10 minutes to like brush my teeth, brush my hair, log on for work, and then I do like a period of work, and then I log off and I quickly, you know, have some lunch and I do this and I do that, I hoover or whatever, and then I go back, and then I know my little milestones in the day, and it makes my like very control freaky brain very happy to know like when I'm doing things. And also on my days off when George is not at nursery, I have things planned and I know when those things are happening, and it just makes me feel very happy to know, yeah, just to feel like I'm in control of a situation rather than it all like getting away from me. For me, that is a really massive tip, and to help me do that, I actually use my calendar on my phone like religiously, even if that's going to collect the click and collect, or when George's nap time will be. And I obviously guess it most of the time, but say he has like 1 nap a day, he's actually currently having it, he has like a 3-hour nap generally. That for me is in my calendar, and we work around like we do things in the morning, we do things in the afternoon. I know when I'm gonna cook dinner, hopefully when he's not awake, so I try and like prepare that, like I said. So yeah, all of those things are like in my calendar, and I think it's an absolute lifesaver for me. Solo parenting tip number 4 is to get out of the house. But let me tell you, I'm not the best at this. I'm really not, because it stresses me out going out on my own with George. When I'm on my own, like solo parenting, it's stressful, it really is, but I never really regret it. I always regret it when I don't go out of the house. If I'm in the house all day, if we're in the house all day, it goes slower. He is more agitated, I am more agitated, the house is messier, for example. Whereas when we go out, yes, there might be a couple of tantrums, there might be a couple of hiccups, for example, but I always think it's worth it, whether that's going to a soft play, whether that's going to like another kid kind of friendly activity, even going to the shops, if you want to brave going to a supermarket, or if you want to just go around, you know, a toy shop, or just anything really. It's so worth it. We actually went to Costa this morning and we had a baby chino for George and a latte for me, and it probably was only like half an hour out of the house, but it was so lovely because we were in a different environment, and for that small period of time he definitely didn't kick off, and it was really nice. So doing something like that for us, getting out of the house, and even meeting up with friends and stuff, if you've got friends that have little ones as well, it's just so lovely and definitely worth it. If you've got a friend that you can go around their house, have a play date, getting out of the house is just the biggest tip for any mum, any parent, but especially when you're solo parenting, because having that, even just being in a different environment or having like grown-up interaction, if you can have that, is just, it's just so worthwhile for me. If it's a possibility, I would also recommend trying to have like maybe one night a month or one day a month where you go out with your friends and have some sort of childcare situation for a little one. So for example, last month, or this month, sorry, it was beginning of this month, my mum had George for the day and I went out with my friends for one of my friends' birthdays, and it was so nice, it was so needed, it was so de-stressing, and it allowed me to like switch off of mum mode for a little bit. And I know that's not an option for everyone. I know that childcare isn't an option for everyone, but if it is, it's something that I would really, really recommend. It's something that did me the world of good anyway. Another tip for solo parents is to baby-proof the house. But I don't mean this like cover up every plug socket in every single area of the room. What I kind of mean is in specific zones where you know it's going to be useful, make sure it's a baby-proofed area. So, for example, in our kitchen, if I'm cooking dinner, if I haven't done my batch cooking of my meal prep, I will have to cook dinner whilst George is there. I have baby locks on all of the cupboard doors that are like not safe, so like plates, chemical, like washing up chemicals and like cleaning chemicals and stuff, but I have not got a lock on one of the doors, and that's because it's George's cupboard, so it's got his snacks in it, he's got his like cups and plates and bowls, and they're all like silicone or plastic, so he can like go in there and he can rip it all out, and yes, it makes a mess, but it keeps him happy momentarily whilst I'm sorting something out, whether that's doing the washing up or stacking the dishwasher or doing the cooking. And the other place that is like the best thing that I ever did when we moved back into this house was to baby-proof the landing. So I think most houses will be baby-proofed on the landing anyway, because there's not much on a landing. But upstairs, I have a baby gate going down the stairs. On the side of where the landing is, there used to be like big holes where George would have been able to go through, and the baby gate wouldn't have been, the baby gate's here, side of the landing here, and there were big gaps in between the poles that he could have snuck through and gone down the stairs, which obviously isn't ideal. I wouldn't have been able to leave him there on his own. So me and my mum actually just popped some MDF on the side of those and painted it white so that he can't get through those gaps. Doesn't look the nicest, but it's definitely baby-proofed the landing. I can shut all of the other doors to his room, my room, and the spare room, and whilst I'm running the bath or cleaning the bathroom or like doing something, I know wherever, if he's got a couple of toys with him on the landing, I know that he's safe, I know that he's not gonna like break anything, he's not gonna hurt himself, and I can crack on doing whatever I'm doing, even if that is for like 5-10 minutes of just running a bath or cleaning the bathroom or something. The next tip is a big one, especially if you are on your own as a solo parent. Anyone actually, any adult this is a good tip for, but generally if you're on your own especially, is to know your house. And what I mean by that is, do you know where your boiler is? Do you know where your fuse box is? Do you know what day your bins go out? Do you know what is allowed in each bin? Like what you're allowed to recycle, what you're not allowed to recycle, because in each area it's obviously different. Do you know, like all of those things? Do you know those things? And if not, why not? Because when something goes wrong, which is it's happened in my house already, the boiler's broken twice, I know how to add pressure back into the boiler. If that's probably not the right terminology, but I know how to do something to do with the pressure that is wrong with our boiler, and I didn't know how to do that before because Ash would have sorted it. My partner would have just done that. So I have learnt that the hard way. I didn't have hot water or heating, and I had to Google and learn all of this stuff about my boiler, and now I know it. I'm so grateful, because if it goes wrong again, I'll just know how to sort it out and we won't have to be out without hot water or heating again. So knowing all of those things about your house, and if you know, if you've got a power cut or something, actually do you have a power cut, or is something just wrong with your fuse box? Do you just have to flip a switch or something like that? So those kind of really practical things that, and it's very like stereotypically something that a man would know and a woman wouldn't. I'm definitely that stereotype, and I'm now not that stereotype. So I'd say educate yourself on those kind of practical things. And yeah, hopefully you won't get into any hiccups like I did. The next one is to communicate with others. So to communicate how you're feeling with others, whether that's your friend, your partner, if you have a partner and they're just away working or doing whatever they're doing, communicate how you're feeling with them, communicate with family, friends, all of that kind of stuff, because genuinely, being a solo parent is hard, like so hard, and it's stressful, it's difficult, it's full on, and you don't get much time to think about you. You're always thinking about someone else, which is how it should be, of course, but I would really urge you to talk to people if you're struggling, and even if you're not struggling, if you've even just had like a bad moment, if you've had a poo explosion, if you've had a tantrum in B&M, if you've had anything like that, rant to someone, talk to them, because it's something that you would talk to your partner about if they were here. So actually talking to anyone, whoever you can, like, you're in touch with, whether that's a friend, a family member, or your partner if they're away. For example, if I have had a hard day, that will be the day that I really want to FaceTime Ash. So we'll FaceTime and we'll rant. I'll just rant about something, and he won't have much to say, he won't have much to offer, but at least I've got something off my chest. Part of that for me, I talk to you guys. I talk to you on Instagram, and I talk to you on YouTube, I talk to my friends, I talk to my family. So I feel like I have loads of support from like this network of people, that I never feel like I'm alone. I never feel like lonely or in that like horrible space that I have felt like I've been in before. I haven't felt like that this time round, which I'm very, very, very grateful for. Next tip for solo parents that are only like temporarily solo parents, I guess, and that is to plan something for when your partner is home. So for example, my partner's back today, actually tonight. He was actually supposed to be due back a week ago, but things got delayed, etc. If you're a regular viewer of my channel, you'll know that his flight got delayed, and I had loads of stuff planned. We had like a really fun date night, and we got really excited about it. We've got like we did the food shop online together, like on FaceTime to each other, and we were getting really excited about it. Yes, the plans got cancelled, but it was so nice to be planning that like really exciting date night, and it was like a trip away. We were gonna have so much fun. We've still got things planned, but it's just like being postponed a little bit. But planning something like that together, whether that's a date night out, or if that's just a cozy night in watching a movie, or even like a family day out, something like that, planning something for when they return is just so nice to have something to look forward to. And it's like, you kind of have like a little countdown in your head. So obviously he's been away for like 4.5 months, but I now know that this time tomorrow, he's gonna be here, sitting right here with George, and that to me is so special that I have that to look forward to. So planning something exciting, however little or small that will be for when they come home, is just a massive tip, I would say. The next tip to survive solo parenting, and I'd say this is the biggest one of all of them, is to avoid burnout. And that in itself is so difficult, because actually you've got all of these things that you're juggling, you're spinning so many different plates, and burnout is real and it can creep up on you. And if you are doing everything all at once, all of the time, on your own, it's so difficult to just completely burn out and like crumble a little bit, to be honest. And I've been there. I've definitely been there this time around. I've been there previously. It's so difficult. To avoid burnout, basically the only thing you can do is lower your expectations, realize that you are not Superwoman. You are not, no matter what everyone tells you on Instagram, including myself. We're not Superwomen, and we are just people, humans with flaws, and we're allowed to cut ourselves some slack sometimes. We can't do everything all at once, and that is okay. Okay? That is the biggest tip that I could possibly give you. Sometimes, yes, the kitchen is going to be a mess. Sometimes you are going to leave the washing up and you're going to come down the next day and think, oh, I really wish I hadn't left it. Things happen and that's fine. I saw a quote on Instagram recently and it was like, being a mum means understanding that you have to take turns in what's clean all at once or something. It was like the house, the baby, you, or something along those lines. And it's so true, like you cannot have everything perfect all of the time, and it's fine. It's fine for that to be the case. My last tip for solo parents, how to survive solo parenting, and promise me if you are watching this, you're struggling, you're solo parenting, or if you're not solo parenting, if you're generally just a parent, promise me you will try and do this, however little or large this might be. Have me time every day. And that does not mean have, you know, half an hour of like me time, whatever that means to you. That kind of just means in the morning, have your cup of coffee. After bedtime, have a bath. After bedtime, put a face mask on. If they're having a long nap right now, maybe have a nap if you're knackered and you've been up all night with them. Do something for you every single day. And like I said, it can be tiny. It can be scrolling on your phone on Instagram for 20 minutes. It can be like doing your hair and makeup just because. Anything like that, just do something for yourself that is purely for yourself, not the house, not the little one, just for you every single day. And for me, my me time is YouTube. I love doing what I do. I love editing. I love filming. I love doing this and making like these lists and these ideas and stuff for you. I love sharing this stuff. So that is my me time, and I have more than my fair share of that because I do spend a lot of time doing this and I love it. And I absolutely feel like I would be lost, completely lost, if it wasn't for YouTube and Instagram and like content creation. I would have struggled so much more. So if your me time is like finding something you're passionate about and you want to be creative in that space, do it. That's your push. But those are my top tips for surviving solo parenting, like my tips for generally if you are a solo parent, whether that be for a week, for just the day, or for 4 months or 6 months or a year, or if you are a single parent. Hopefully these things helped. I know it's not the same. It's not the same at all if you are a single parent versus a solo parent. They are completely different things, but I would love to know what your tips are if you have experienced solo parenting or any kind of combination of that, whether your partner works long hours or anything like that. Let me know what your tips are down below, because I probably will be here this time next year doing the same kind of video. So yeah, let me know down below. But for now, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you. Ash is gonna be back by the time you see this, so I think this is gonna be my last video of 2021. So I will see you next year. Love you guys, bye.
'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanting to give up 'cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson. 'Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever.